But look, if people go to only one source and the source they go to is sick and, has an agenda and they're putting out disinformation, our First Amendment stands as a major block to the ability to be able to just, hammer it out of existence.
We should have free speech, but if you're inciting violence, if you're causing people not to take vaccines, where are those boundaries that even the U.S. Should, have rules?
Well, you heard that for yourself. John Kerry and Bill Gates, so the latest clip that we have, these guys are really against the First Amendment. These guys are really against free speech because, the term of consensus, they need this consensus about their ideas because any other ideas that do not fit into that consensus, well, are dangerous. Do you think what's really dangerous? Be talking about just curbing or controlling or in any way of another cutting any dissent, because that means that you have some kind of dictatorial communication. And we can start by seeing this clip of John Kerry in its entirety to see his actual words. Oh, I want to make sure that you did not take this out of context. No, this is not out of context, and you're going to see that this is what he meant.
And I think the dislike of and anguish over social media is just growing and growing and growing.
Well, the anguish of our social media is especially the ones who want to control the message, and social media, for their detriment, actually helps people have a voice and be able to listen to various sources so we can have make decisions in terms of what we hear and what we actually read, and not because some government just pushes down our throats.
And it's part of our problem, particularly in democracies, in terms of building consensus around any issue.
That is quite absurd. A democracy is like everybody gets to cast a vote, right? Or everybody gets to have a voice. So it's a problem, particularly in democracies, that what is it? Are his words?
Building consensus around any issue.
He wants everybody to follow the consensus. That is the exact opposite of what democracy is.
It's really hard to govern today. You can't, there's the referees we used to have to determine what's a fact and what isn't a fact.
Yeah, because he's talking in terms that once science is settled, then there was no more to say, right? But if that was the case, then we will still believe that the sun goes around the earth, because that was settled science at some point. But no, science doesn't work like that. The idea is to, have a dissenting opinion and follow the scientific method. But these guys really want to control what we believe in.
They've kind of, been eviscerated to a certain degree. And people go and people self-select where they go for their news or for their information.
Yeah, that is great indeed, because, people build credibility online. It's not like you are going to listen to any anonymous source or that kind of things. If you follow someone on X or on YouTube, and those people speak with common sense, and and sometime later you find out that they were right, and they were right, and they were right, then, that's how you build credibility. And you have the right to follow the people that you believe that they have credibility and, of course, are aligned with your own values, which is equally as important.
And then you just get into a vicious cycle. So it's really, really hard, much harder to build consensus today than at any time in the 45, 50 years I've been involved in this.
Yeah, he must be very upset about that difficulty of building consensus. It means that making everyone act as he says.
And there's a lot of discussion now about how you curb those entities in order to guarantee that you're going to have, some accountability on facts, et cetera.
That is the thing that I don't understand. But sometimes some topics are really nuanced. No topic it's very hard to say that every topic is a black or white. This is this, or like it's a boolean. It's on or off. That is that just doesn't happen. And it's very important that sometimes what applies to everyone does not apply to you as a person. It can happen to anybody, and it's idea because we have the right to think for ourselves and to act in our best interest. And well, no, it's like they decide what is our best interest.
But look, if people go to only one source and the source they go to is sick and has an agenda and they're putting out disinformation, our First Amendment stands as a major block to the ability to be able to just hammer it out of existence. So,
hammer it out of existence, like, well, just deleting YouTube channels and silencing X accounts or something like that. At least we know that X has a bit of freedom in that regard, but everywhere else, it's a bit hard. By the way, remember to subscribe to my email list in the description of this video, or downloading my 100 body language tips. It's the best way to stay in contact with me, whatever happens, with these people thinking of this censorship. But this is how you see that John Kerry explicitly talks about the First Amendment as something that, needs to be corrected.
So what we need is to win the ground, win the right to govern by hopefully having, winning enough votes that you're free to be able to implement change.
Yeah, the change is silencing anybody who disagrees with what they claim to be the facts.
Now, obviously, there are some people in our country who are prepared to implement change in other ways, and
so
that's
you're
really
questioning
dangerous.
Really if democracy can survive unregulated social media.
I think democracy.
You see again, how absurd is that? Like, democracy can survive unregulated social media. That's the idea of having different voices, of casting different votes. You vote with your thoughts, with your money, with your mouth, with your feet and your hands, of course. But that doesn't make sense. That's the idea. Be able to access all the sources of information, and of course, that everybody in this case needs to be accountable for their own decisions. If I read or listen or pay attention to someone in social media and I do as they suggest, at the end of the day, I am responsible for my actions. That's something that we need to be clear about. And if you want to say to do or act as the government says, well, you will be responsible as well. That is not going to change. You are ultimately responsible for your actions and the consequences of those actions. So you must have the right to act and decide what's in your best interest, regardless to who you listen to. Maybe you listen to your sources on social media, or you listen to the government, but you need to be able to choose between those sources.
Democracies are very challenged right now and have not proven they can move fast enough or big enough to deal with the challenges that we are facing.
That means censoring fast enough.
And to me, that is part of what this race, this election is all about. Will we break the fever in the United States?
Yeah, we'll break that. The fever in this case must be X, which is the only social media right now. We have some kind of liberty. Mark Zuckerberg wants to make it seem like Facebook is going to change, but I don't believe it for 1 second. He's busy with his BR stuff. And now Bill Gates.
Free speech, but if you're inciting violence, if you're causing people not to take vaccines,
you're causing people not to take vaccines. Notice that it's like you control people with some kind of remote control. You say something and then people have no agency. If you say something on social media, whoever listens to you is gonna go like a lemming to act as you say. And they are afraid of that because they actually want lemmings, but not listening to voices on social media, but listening to them. I think that is not the idea. I think this is fair game, Bills. If people want to listen to you, well, good for them. That is their decision. They have to deal with the consequences of that choice. If they want to listen to me or to any other source on social media or any other media platform, it's their decision and their responsibility as well. Everyone that has a platform on social media at the same time has a responsibility, because if you say something misleading, nobody wants to say something misleading because, well, you're gonna lose your audience. That is a given. But these people want to make sure that they are the only ones who have the facts and the ultimate truth, the truth that is going to be pushed onto the masses no matter what.
Where are those boundaries that even the U.S. should, have rules?
Have rules in terms of free speech. So no free speech at all.
And then if you have rules, what is it? Is there some AI that encodes those rules? Because you have billions of activity and, if you catch it a day later, the harm is done.
Yeah, the harm is done. People can access information and, well, make a decision based on their own knowledge and own responsibility of the matters. And he's talking about AI. That is, I am afraid of that, because that AI is trained on something, and AI can be adjusted in many ways. And that AI can also be adjusted to be too politically correct, if not woke. That's a real problem. So whoever controls the AI can control the judge, the automatic judge who, well, disables or enables things. I try to be very fair on these videos. That I have analyzed Bill Gates a couple times, have no problems whatsoever. But I just try to bring you the information so you make your own decisions. That's what we need from any corner of social media. We need to listen to the different voices, and sometimes voices that are not the government, sometimes they dissent between one another, and that is fine. That is fine, because in the end it's important to exercise critical thinking, which that so many entities are not interested in us having that privilege. But I would love to know what you think about this in the comments. Remember to download my 100 free body language tips in the description of this video and subscribe to my email list. My name is Jesus Enrique Rosas. I'm the body language guy. Much love and bliss.